the American dollar is $250 billion into their AI program. Their AI program is also allegedly involves a little bit of espionage. So it involves a little bit of stealing some of the data from OpenAI and some of these other places. And one of the things that does happen, of course, with these sort of enormous technology breakthroughs is that you're going to have certain foreign governments that are trying to infiltrate these research centers.
Yeah.
They're trying to get access to this information, and the speculation is that they have done that, and that they are more advanced because of it than we're even aware of, and that they're dumping untold amounts of resources, sort of unchecked. The response to this is probably what the government just recently announced, what the Trump administration...
Oh, the $500 billion thing.
Right.
Yeah.
This is probably in response to that.
Okay.
That there's an AI arms race that's going on right now. And whoever gets to the front of the line first is going to be in an insane position of power. And
in a sense, it's similar to the space race, but this one is probably more consequential.
Probably more consequential because essentially when you're dealing with quantum computing and AI and you put the two of those together, which they haven't done yet, but once they do, what is that? That sounds like a god.
Yeah.
It does. It sounds like something that can do things that doesn't even make sense. It's going to have the kind of understanding of the universe that we would only dream of right now.
Right.
And it's probably a week away, or a month away, or a year away, or whatever it is.
So it's
going to happen quick.
In a much less sort of grand context, yesterday I had, this morning I was telling you I was having breakfast with a colleague from UT Austin. I actually also met him yesterday. He came over to the hotel and we went out. He has a Tesla. And he said that over the past month or so, I don't remember the exact time, the AI abilities of the self-driving part of his Tesla, he's noticed a huge improvement, like a really discrete jump. And so we were driving, we were going to a coffee shop, and he wasn't looking at the road, and he wasn't using his hands, and the car was driving.
Oh yeah, I have one.
But okay, so for you, it doesn't seem perceptually. And I was looking.
It's bananas. When you use it, it's bananas. The auto driving feature's nuts. It stops at red lights. It turns left and right. It changes lanes.
The whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And so this was the first time I was fully immersed in a self-driving car. And I was telling him, "Hey, Richard, are you sure that this is okay?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine." My children come in, and it was like mind-blowing experience.
It's mind-blowing. Yeah. And what is that compared to what it's going to be?
Yeah, exactly.
There was I bought my first one, I guess 7 years ago, something like that, and I made a video of me driving on Sunset Boulevard without my hands. I had my hands over the steering wheel while Led Zeppelin was playing. I was like, this is so crazy. It was driving down the street.
And how much have you noticed?
It's much better.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, much
500% better.
It's way better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I said.
What specifically? It makes better decisions.
Now it changes lanes to avoid obstructions. It puts its blinker on and makes turns. It stops at red lights and stop signs. It just does everything. It drives like a person. I mean, it still feels weird. I don't like to let it drive. I like to drive.
Okay.
I like driving, right?
Yeah.
I like. It's fun. It's fun, and it's a fun car to drive because it's so preposterous. It's like it moves like a time machine.
Yeah.
It just goes places. It doesn't make any noise. It's real weird. So I like driving, but the auto driving feature that exists now is just the beginning. It's gonna get to the point where it's gonna be stupid to let people drive.
You know, it's funny because linking it back to my area research in psychology decision making, there was a psychologist who has now passed away, a very famous psychologist named Paul Meehl, Meehl, who in the 1950s was already doing studies looking at what's called actuarial versus clinical judgments. What does that mean? Let's suppose I were to tell you that when it comes to making decisions for your admissions to a university, using an actuarial model, meaning putting in all of your admissions data and allowing a model to decide yes or no, is a much better mechanism than to allow humans to make that choice, because humans can be hungry at 11:45 and they're pissed off because their blood sugar is low, and if they're, depending on whether the blood sugar is low or not, they may make a different decision on the exact same file. So that he tried to argue that actuarial decisions for certain structured decisions will end up having much better, fairer outcomes for university applicants, and people were still reticent to allow the machine to make decisions. They wanted it to be in the hands of humans. And so I think when